Hotel brothers and sisters, this is Babatunde Akinwole once again, and we're going to talk to you about the third phase of the accomplishment of Pan-Africanism, and that is the establishment of socialism. This is the one that a number of people have the most questions about. When we start talking about the total unification of Africa, people can get to the point where they can see that people of African descent, everywhere they exist in the world, are African people. People can get to the point where they understand that Africa is our homeland, that Africa is our mother. We were born in Africa. Africa was responsible for our existence. Had it not been for Africa, we would not be. They can get to that. But when we start talking about bringing about the economic system of socialism, that's where people start looking at you crazy. For the last 20 years that I've been pushing socialism, I've been a socialist for maybe 30 years now, studied for maybe 40 years. And for the last 20 years, I kind of cranked up my efforts to talk about socialism and try to explain it so that it made sense. People calling me all kinds of names like commies and all of that kind of stuff, you know, like it was a cartoon kind of a thing. This is real. So it has been difficult to talk about socialism and get people to understand it, because even in this country, there was a time when if you declared to be a socialist, or if you did something that somebody thought had something to do with socialism, you could be placed in a position where you couldn't get a job, you could get arrested, you could even get attacked physically. So the whole deal between socialism and capitalism is a big deal in America. Now, socialism or capitalism kind of took over after the McCarthy period of the 1950s and the early 60s, but we now are starting to see the contradictions grow even deeper between capitalism and socialism. One of the things that happened is that during this present presidential campaign, one of the people campaigning to become president, that was Bernie Sanders, he was pushing socialism to the masses of the people. And one thing happened that was really extraordinary. The young people were buying into it. They were saying, yeah, we got to have something different. And now there is a campaign that is going on in Kentucky. Our neighbor, we're in Ohio. Our neighboring state, Kentucky, has someone who I believe he's running for Congress. His last name is Morrison. Look for Morrison's election campaign, whatever they call it, TV proposal that he has for running for Congress. I believe it's for Congress he's running for. But he says that we must vote for Donald Trump because America is in a battle between capitalism and socialism. Right there on TV. And not only does he say it with his mouth, they have it printed up there on the caption, the battle between capitalism and socialism. We got to make it clear so that our people have no doubt exactly what we as a people should be embracing. Let me get into it as quickly as I can. First of all economic systems, regardless of what the economic system is a process of production that entails two basic essentials. One is the means of production. The means of production is everything, almost everything, that it takes to produce something, to manufacture something. We're talking about land, we're talking about mines, we're talking about factories, we're talking about equipment. All of those kinds of things are part of the means of production. Now, those who own or control the means of production are also the ones who are in control of the production process. The other essential of production is labor. And those in control of the labor are the workers themselves. But inside of any economic system, and let me say that the economic system is always the basis of any society, because that is the way that society earns its living. The economic system determines how products are made, and it determines the distribution of wealth. So once that economic system has been established, all of the institutions in that society must reflect the principles of the economic system. If it doesn't, now you really got chaos. And that is the reason, excuse me, that in capitalist society, the capitalist class, or the rulers or the owners of the means of production, always get their way, because all of the institutions that come out of the society always reflect the principles of the economic system. And the economic system here being capitalism, all of the laws that are passed, you will see that they are in line with the things that the people who are the industrialists, the big money capitalists, it is in line with what they want to have happen. Rarely do you see laws and legislature passed that will benefit the people who are called the workers. Which brings me to the breakdown inside of capitalist society. It breaks the people into two classes. The working class, or the ones who must use their labor to live. And the ruling class. These are the capitalists who must make profit. And the capitalists will do anything to make profits. Because in order to stay a capitalist, they must make profits. In order for a regular person or a laborer to stay alive, they must struggle for decent wages and benefits. It's a constant battle. And the ruling class, or the capitalist class, or those who control the means of production, they always seek to pay the least for that which they have to pay for. And they always seek to pay the less, to pay the most, to acquire the most for what they sell. They pay the least for what they have to pay for, and they acquire the most for what they have to sell. And always the biggest debt for the capitalist class is the labor, going to get somebody to actually do the work. And so there always is a battle between the laborers, or the working class, and the capitalists, or the ruling class. The laborers are always struggling to get better wages and better benefits. The capitalist class is only struggling to get profits. And they will do anything to protect those profits. Unemployment, war, poverty, pollution, death, lying, anything they got to do, they're going to do it. It doesn't make no difference who they hurt. They simply give it their famous label, collaborative damage. Doesn't matter who goes down, as long as I make my profits. Doesn't matter if you go back to work too early during the COVID-19 virus, as long as I'm making my profits. If you do go back to work and you get sick on the job, and all of the people that work with you get sick, we always got some other folks who will take your place. So if you gotta die, you gotta die. But I gotta make my profits. That's how capitalism functions. And so we gotta make sure that we understand the complexity of capitalism and the simplicity of capitalism at the same time. It is complex because it can and has and will continue to wreak havoc on humankind and on the natural world itself. We have to make sure that when we develop the new African nation, run by Pan-Africanism, it must be powered by socialism. Now, let me give a little bit about socialism. Under socialism, the means of production is no longer owned by private people. It is owned by the masses of the people. And the way socialism is carried out is through what's called central planning. Everything is planned. You can't have someone put together a tattoo parlor, or somebody put together a beauty shop, or somebody put together a bar, and think that those things are the kinds of things that are going to be completely and totally necessary for the survival and advancement of the people themselves. The central planning focuses on the needs and interests of the masses of the people to move forward. And those things that are not as important get pushed to the wayside. The planning is based on, we have this many people that we need to serve, and they need this, 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 and this. Let us begin to produce that. If we don't need to produce tattoos, let us not produce it. And that is one of the reasons that capitalism can be so successful, because it doesn't think of profits first. It thinks of the needs and interests of the masses of the people. And that's the reason we have to make sure that the means of production is publicly owned, not privately owned. We also have to make sure that development of the African worldwide government is a socialist government. If for no other reason that we understand what capitalism has done to us and continues to do to us everywhere we exist in the world, capitalism has its big boot on our neck. And the only way we get that boot off our neck is to get rid of capitalism. We have to move to do that. So we want to make sure that we bring about socialism, because under socialism, success is no longer measured by your appearance in the Forbes 500 magazine, but success is determined by the extent of your cooperation with your fellow human beings and the natural world around us. That's what socialism talks about. Under capitalism, they couldn't care less about human beings. Nobody except the capitalists dropped atomic bombs on people and killed, maimed, and had millions of people suffering for years later after the bomb was dropped, except greedy, money-hungry capitalists. Couldn't care less about humanism. Nobody else is destroying the rainforests, bringing about global warming so that Graceland and Iceland and the places where they're covered with ice are now melting at a rate that over the last 30 years has caused the kind of flooding that in the next 10 to 15 years, mass floods will be hitting billions of people. Mass floods from the glaciers melting in the ice-capped parts of the earth. We have to be careful of that. But capitalism couldn't care less. They say, we're not responsible for global warming. We didn't do that. It's just natural. Of course it's not natural. They spew toxic wastes into the air, into the oceans, into the land on an ongoing basis. And it said, NASA did a study that said by the year 2070, that billions of people, and I think they said 2 billion people, will be living in parts of the earth that will be so hot it will not be a capable habitat for human beings. That's what's happening with global warming. And we're sitting back, letting the capitalists continue to make money and destroy the earth. We keep talking about the song that Brother Gil Scott-Heron did on his last album. Again, I can't remember the words, but one of the lines said, the military and the monetary. The military and the monetary, they're turning our people into mercenaries. They're turning the planet into a cemetery. And we see the capitalists right now looking for a new planet. Oh, they're going into outer space. We got to find something because we done tore this one up. We got to stop this madness. Inside of the Cincinnati Pan Afrikan Coalition, one of the things that we do is we study. And we want to make sure that our study includes bringing about complete clarity of socialism and capitalism, and how do we implement a socialist society. Because we cannot afford another year, another day, another second of capitalism destroying the world we live in. We got to get rid of it. So that is a function of Pan-Africanism, the total liberation and unification of Africa and all of its scattered children under scientific socialism. We talk about scientific socialism. I'm going to make this last point. Scientific socialism. One of the things that got me, I started studying socialist philosophy back in the early 1970s. And it was mostly white scholars that I studied. Karl Marx, Frederick Engels, Joseph Stalin, Maurice Cornforth, those guys. I studied those, and they were basically coming out of a Eurocentric kind of a perspective on how people should live. I got the principles because I was used to the principles, because the principles of socialism were in order with the principles of ancient African communalism, where we take care of the group first, not the individual, but the group. Well, but it just seemed kind of offset to me, because they were talking about conditions inside of Europe that African people just weren't dealing with. So I read those folks, and then I got down to the African socialists out of the big bad, from the big bad African perspective. I was reading Kwame Nkrumah, I was reading Sekou Touré, Julius Nyerere, Jomo Kenyatta, Nnamdi Nzikwe, even Robert Mugabe. I mean, when I started reading those folks, and they were saying that the principles of socialism are the same principles that we've been using over the centuries in Africa, and it's worked. But when we apply those same principles to the African perspective, when we look at things that are happening in the concrete material conditions of African people around the world, that's what makes it so scientific. That we're applying those principles to our particular situation. That's when it made sense to me. That's when I said socialism is not a white economic system. It is not a black economic system. It is a workable economic system for humankind and for everything else in the universe. So we're pushing for socialism. I just want to say to people, if you want to get more information about socialism, about Pan-Africanism, about those of us who are doing work with the Cincinnati Pan Afrikan Coalition, please get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us by writing CPAC, that's CPAC, 3831 Odin Avenue, ODIN, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45213. That's 3831 Odin Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45213. You can call us at area 513-290-2696. That's 513-290-2696. Or you can email us at kurt.standifer@yahoo.com. That's CURT.STANDIFER@yahoo.com. Please get in touch with us. We feel that we must be organized, and we are offering ourselves to you as an organization to at least look at and see if we may be the one you would like to work with. Get in touch with us. We eagerly await your correspondence. And as always, in closing, I am Babatunde Akinwole, and I just like to say the words that we always say in CPAC: forward ever, backward never. Hotep.
Check this out. We can learn to come together. We can learn from all together, promotion, together, promotion together. Any weather, we can weather the storm. Keep it better, cause my nation reborn. Someone taught me to handle the mic. Someone taught me to battle his on. Someone taught me to game in the chest. Someone taught me to handle the board. I was raised in spirituality, healthy habits is key. I'ma pass it to the next generation, cause that was me. And I'm still learning from master teachers, still on the journey. Ancestor spirit in me, while my vibes stay burning. Teach one in my life, soldier. Pass down the skill, you can learn to hold us. If each one teach one in my life, soldier. Yeah, learn to come together. Yeah. If each one one, teach one in my life, soldier. Let that marinate. Let that marinate. If each one teach one in my life, soldier. We can learn to come together, we can learn from more. I hit the ground running, future greatness awaits. Got something real to teach me, the family elaborate. We can all have these 5 skills to perfect and do them. Then break it down in pieces for when we teaching the youth. I was brought up with the spirit of fierceness. You hear this? We gotta fight for the next generation like serious. It's one thing with technology, we feel like we on top of things. Then the system falls and we left hanging like apostrophes. I cannot compete, I got a lot in mind, it's not complete. It's only the beginning, a fraction of what's inside of me. Jetting roundly, rap verses and black up counseling. Held my head high, took in the world that surrounded me. And it felt good to be filled up with this energy. Let's go. Life force, healing, and mental chemistry. This is building me, there's no symmetry. Are you feeling me? You giving, you receiving, that's an immortal remedy. Each one teach one in my life, soldier. Pass down the skill, we could grow to hold us. If each one teach one in my life, soldier, we can learn to come together, we can learn from soldier. If each one teach one in my life, soldier. Pass down the skill, we could grow to hold us. If each one teach one in my life, soldier, we can learn to come together, we can learn from soldier. I said, touch one, touch all, we all just unified. Family standing tall, sisters, brothers, and cousins, aunties, uncles, and all. We all know much. Young minds we touch, bring formula to the greatness we live so plush. Yeah. Pamoja tutashinde, pamoja tutashinde. Together we will win. Together we will win. That's that piece. Once again.
In a report from the Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Professor Colin Clark says his classes these days are devoted more to white supremacy than in the past. John Kwan, an adjunct professor at Georgetown University's Center for Security Studies, said white supremacists have become more sophisticated in their communications. In the past, they were viewed as racist individuals who were on the fringe or outside of mainstream society. Now their thoughts, ideas, and messaging have been incorporated into the mainstream political discourse by a growing number of elected officials. The evolution of Clark's classes suggests it's time to look beyond Al-Qaeda and ISIS. As the main sources of terrorism, he said that the more insidious approach taken by white supremacist groups poses a bigger danger in the long term and needs to be acknowledged. It seems that everyone is organizing in support of what they see as their needs and interests. White supremacy poses a direct threat to the forward progress of African people. And it is past time for us to not only recognize that threat, but to prepare ourselves to appropriately deal with it. Study organization, military science organization, unity and organization should become the battle cry in our community. Obviously, organization is crucial, and if we don't organize ourselves, whatever we plan to do will have little chance of succeeding. In Cuba is one of the countries that moved rapidly to deal with the emergence of coronavirus threat. Cuba has several advantages over many states, including free universal health care, the world's highest ratio of doctors to population, and positive health indicators such as a high life expectancy and low infant mortality. Many of its doctors have volunteered around the world, building up and supporting other countries' health systems while gaining experience in emergencies. A highly educated population and an advanced medical research industry, including 3 laboratories equipped and staffed to run virus tests, are further strengths. Also, with a centrally planned state-controlled economy, socialism, Cuba's government can mobilize resources quickly. Its national emergency planning structure is connected with local organizations in every corner of the country. The disaster preparedness system with mandatory evacuations for vulnerable people such as the disabled or pregnant women has previously resulted in a remarkable low loss of lives from hurricanes. However, COVID-19 presents differences. Cuba's lack of resources, which hampers recovery disasters, also contributes to a housing shortage that makes physical distancing difficult. And the island's poor infrastructure creates logistical challenges. Also, the pandemic comes at a particularly difficult time as tightened sanctions from the capitalist United States have sharply cut earnings from tourism and other services, deterred foreign investment, hampered trade, including medical equipment imports and obstructed access to international finance, including emergency foods. In spite of those roadblocks, Cuba's reaction to the coronavirus was swift. A prevention and control plan prepared in January 2020 included training medical staff, preparing medical and quarantine facilities, and informing the public, including tourism workers, about systems and precautions. So when the first reported cases were confirmed there on March 11th, arrangements were in place to trace and isolate contacts, mobilize medical students for national door-to-door surveys to identify vulnerable people and check for symptoms, and to roll out a testing program. Through socialism's innate love for people over profits, the government of Cuba has kept positive cases of the coronavirus at a very low level and have been able to export their skills and experience and support to other countries as well. During the pandemic, the capitalist countries of the world are showing that priority planning for profit is disastrous to the long-term health and wealth of its people. Cuba is standing tall and showing how a socialist country, even though small, poor, and under constant attack from the capitalists, can make life better and more abundant for everyone and everything involved. Long live the socialist revolution. This ends our African World Current Event segment, but we encourage all Africans to try and stay on top of the concrete material conditions being endured by our people everywhere. We thank you for your attention and your patience and hope that you and yours can stay well during these times. I am Ejide Howard, wishing you a very happy African Liberation Day. Hotep.
Hotep, brothers and sisters. My name is Chester T. Adeyemi, for those that know me in my African community. I am the producer and director of this program, and I want to thank everyone, first of all, for taking the time out to enjoy this African Liberation Day with us during this COVID 2019 pandemic. And once again, if you missed part of the program, don't forget you can see it. The program will be up on my YouTube, which is idaytech.solutions, and also up on the site for CPAC, which is www.cpac.engagedmmg.com. That's www.cpac.engagedmmg.com. And that MMG is Engaged Music and Media Group. I'm going to, we're celebrating today along with many other people around the world, around the diaspora, Africans all over the world, and many other people as they recognize African Liberation Day this 2020. And here's in Europe, for instance, we have they're celebrating Brixton in London, England, in Stockholm, Sweden. They're celebrating Paris, France, celebrating Brussels and Belgium, Madrid, Madrid, Spain. Also in Central America, Belize City in Belize, San Jose in Costa Rica, Cali, Colombia, Caracas, Venezuela. In the Caribbean, Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, Kingston, Jamaica, of course, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Havana, Cuba, brothers, Port-au-Prince, Haiti, San Domingo, Dominican Republic, Suriname, Guyana, of course, in Africa, they're definitely celebrating, and we stand with all our African brothers, no matter where you stand, no matter where you sit, no matter where you lay. Accra, Ghana. Dakar, Senegal. Conakry, Guinea. Baswa, Guinea. Arusha, Tanzania. Maputo, Mozambique. Zimbabwe. All right, I got a list of them here. And Johannesburg, Port of South Africa, or Azania, Nairobi, Kenya, and Lagos, Nigeria. And here on the North American continent, they're celebrating in Toronto, Canada, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., up the street in Chicago, Illinois, right here in Cincinnati, Ohio with you. That's what you're watching today. Birmingham, Alabama, Atlanta, Georgia, Miami, Florida, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles, California. And, of course, in homes privately across all this great planet of ours. I'm here today just to say, once again, thank you. And remember, we put this together because of the pandemic, but we always have the power to put these things together. And CPAC and Adaytech Solutions will be putting together a lot more programs and live streams for you. So please, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, make sure you leave us a comment, click like buttons, and all kind of things, and all the buttons that give you notifications. Or like Baba said, just reach out to us. You can give him a call at area code 513-290-2696, or reach me at area code 513-360-8322. We are very powerful people. We are Africans. We are first in the world to do everything. So why are we not doing this more? We don't need to be instructed. We just need people out of our way. Capitalism has been in our way. Imperialism has been in our way. Colonialism has definitely been in our way. But now it's time for us to stand up, and it's been time for us to stand up, and we will continue standing up as Africans together. You know. So as we continue to the end of this program, we're bringing you Bob Marley War, okay, and then we'll come back with some other closing remarks. But once again, I do want to thank you. This has been a great experience. Hopefully we'll see you physically soon, but we'll continue to do more broadcasts, more live presentations, and more celebrations as we stand together, fight together through this pandemic. This has been Chester T for Adaytech Solutions, Engage Music Media Group, and Rhyme Time Entertainment, San Hotep. Peace.
Greetings, and we're back here at the conclusion of the African Liberation Day 2020 celebration that was being brought to you live out of Cincinnati. And we are just so excited, and thank you for joining us today. I apologize about a little bit of a hiccup there. Things like that happen on live streams. But if you were on Facebook Live by any chance watching us, we did run into an issue and we couldn't reconnect, but it's okay. The event is still going to be uploaded so that you can still go back and watch most of the entire program. We just have those technical issues here at the end over on Facebook. So again, and we're going to try to get this very last part over there as well. But we should be going here on YouTube. And again, we thank you so much for being with us. I just want to say, as my name is Joy again, and it was just such a wonderful honor to co-host today. And so I just feel really privileged to have done that. So we are, like I said, almost at the end. And what we are going to do is get ready to bring back our elder to kind of do some closing comments here today. Let me see, what else did I want to bring to your attention? Well, I just personally also want to shout out, which Baba was probably going to do that anyway, our technical folks who are here today. We had Adaytech Solutions here running the technical end of things, and we are so appreciative of that. And that is spelled ADETEC Solutions, another Black business owner. Feel free to go over there and check it out. Again, wonderful presentations. I really hope that you will share with your compadres, no matter where they are. They didn't have to be in 513, because there was some wonderful presentations today. So without further ado, I want to get ready to bring back and reintroduce the elder, formerly known as Baba Kurt Standifer. Babatunde Akinwole is going to come with some closing comments today on our African Liberation Day celebration. Peace out, revolution, Black Power.
Hotep, brothers and sisters. This is Babatunde Akinwole, and I'm going to just give thanks to you today for being a part of the African Liberation Day celebration, and let you know that it's been our pleasure to be able to put it on for the 10th straight year here in Cincinnati. African Liberation Day is a very beautiful celebration, but it's a very important celebration for our people. And we always like to make sure that the kinds of things that are important to us, we pay particular attention to, because these are the things that our community needs to begin to rally around. Here in Cincinnati, it's kind of a melting pot. It's kind of like everywhere in the country, though. It's kind of a melting pot for a lot of different ethnic groups. And we see every year all of those groups paying close attention to the celebration of themselves, their homeland, their culture, their people, and we see that inside of the African community. In fact, when other people celebrate themselves, African people are right there with them to help them celebrate themselves. We know that inside of Cincinnati, the Germans roll out the beer kegs to celebrate Oktoberfest. And we know that that is the celebration of German history, the German homeland, the German culture, the German people. And we are right there standing there. When the Irish have St. Patrick's Day, hell, our children even march in the St. Patrick's Day parade. The Greeks, they have what's called the Panayiti Festival. And we run right out there eating baklava with them and talking about how beautiful the outfits are from their traditional culture. Now we have a major influx of Mexicans here in Cincinnati, and Cinco de Mayo is just as big for Africans as it is for the Mexicans. And of course, there's the Moon celebration or the Moon Festival, and those are the celebrating themselves. We practically have to beg people to come to African Liberation Day, or come to Kwanzaa, or even Juneteenth. We need to make sure that the holidays, the celebrations that are crucial and important to our people are as much celebrated, even more celebrated than those of other ethnic groups. We got to make sure that days like African Liberation Day are never overlooked, because that is the day that we give tribute to our homeland Africa, our traditional culture, to our history, to our people, and to make sure that we let people know that we are proud of the fact that we are African people and that Africa is our homeland. We cannot continue to look at ourselves as being less than people who don't have a homeland. We start claiming America as our homeland, and we really have to back away from that, because America belongs to someone else. It doesn't even belong to the people who run it. They stole it from someone else. Now we're seeking to have our own land in America, but we're asking the thieves to give us a piece of their stolen bounty. There's no righteousness in that. And we give our respect to the native people of this land and let them know that those of us who understand, we know the question of land, and we know how it feels to have our homeland taken from us, and we stand in solidarity with you to get back your homeland. We understand that Africa is our homeland. As I've said many times, the Creator blessed us with land on the face of this earth to be our homeland. It is rich in everything. Most of the things that modern technology brings forth, the resources to build it, came from our homeland. And we always say that everybody wants to get a piece of the raw materials and the natural resources of Africa, and everybody is benefiting from those except Africans themselves. We have to recover our homeland. we got to take control of our homeland and bring it back into the hands of African people. But when we do that, we have to make sure that we understand. There's the old saying of, to whom much is given, much is expected in return. When we are in control of all the riches of our homeland, we have a responsibility to, first of all, make sure that African people, regardless of where we live or where we were born in the world, are properly provided for, protected, spoken for, and given the kind of pride and dignity about being who they are as other people are. And then we take all of those resources and those minerals, and we make sure that all justice-loving people in the world are supported by us who are justice lovers. And once we do that, we make sure that the kinds of things that our leader, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, may he rest in peace, the kinds of things that he was saying about a socialist united Africa being a major weapon toward world liberation comes into being. Because with our resources, we can support justice-loving people, and we bring about those who would love justice if they could only reach for it. And once we all come together, the people who are responsible for wrongdoing on this earth, we know that their days will be numbered. They can join us, or they can go under along with all of the dirt that they've been doing. So we have to make sure that we celebrate ourselves, celebrate African Liberation Day, which not only gives us pride and dignity in ourselves, but it gives us a chance to commit and recommit ourselves to bringing about African independence. That is what this day is about. And so we have to make sure that our children, our family, our neighbors, everybody understands the importance of African Liberation Day, and that we continue to make sure that it is a special time in the households of all of our people. Finally, we say that the only way we can accomplish our ultimate goal of Pan-Africanism is that we must come together. When Maulana Ron Karenga put together the Kwanzaa celebration and developed the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba, he said the first principle must be unity. Because if we can't come together, you can forget about doing the rest of them. We have got to come together. Organization is key for us. Organization and unity is key for us. So we are saying that in order for us to accomplish Pan-Africanism, we must be organized. You, as an individual, you have to get inside of an organization that is working toward African independence. And if you are already inside of an organization working for African independence, you need to be joining coalitions of other African organizations doing such, so that we can begin to move toward our ultimate objective. Once we organize ourselves and get strong in a particular place, this is what African freedom fighter from the west coast of Africa in a country called Guinea-Bissau, and Guinea-Bissau was kind of an island country right off the coast of Guinea. Amilcar Cabral used to say all of the time, he said, when we go out to struggle, that we must tell no lies and claim no easy victories. Well, if everything we do is based on the truth, we'll know that there's no way that we won't be successful. The old sayings are, truth crushed to the earth will rise again. Seek ye the truth, and the truth shall set you free. We got to be about the truth. Don't tell lies. The first time you tell a lie, you got to tell another lie to cover up the lie. Then you got to tell another lie to cover up the original lie. And by the time you get caught in the lie, hell, the consequences are far worse than if you just told the truth in the first place. Tell no lies, but claim no easy victories. There are no easy victories. Everything worthwhile takes work. And if you are not ready to work for Pan-Africanism, you are not ready for freedom. You are not ready for independence. Everything worthwhile takes work. There are no easy victories. Let us go to work. Let us move to get this done. But when we do it inside of organizations, we must be organized. So you as an individual must be in an organization. You in an organization must be in a coalition. Because if we don't come together, we won't make it happen. We in CPAC, the Cincinnati Pan Afrikan Coalition, we invite you to join us in this struggle for Pan-Africanism. Anyone interested in getting in touch with us, I'm going to give you a chance to get us one more time, give you our call numbers one more time. You can write us at CPAC, that's CPAC, 3831 Odin Avenue, that's ODIN, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45213. 3831 Odin Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45213. You can call us at area code 513-290-2696. That's 513-290-2696. Or you can email us. And we're at kurt.standifer@yahoo.com. That's CURT.STANDIFER@yahoo.com. We certainly are waiting for your correspondence, but we certainly are thankful that you spent some time with us today. Whether you spent all of the time that we were here today or some of the time, we certainly are thankful for that. And we hope that you take that revolutionary spirit that we try to put out there. Let it permeate your family. Let it permeate your household. Let it permeate the community that you live in. And let us come together to work for African independence by struggling to bring about Pan-Africanism. With that, I will say to you that for the Cincinnati Pan Afrikan Coalition, I am Babatunde Akinwole. Forward ever, backward never.
Greetings once again, brothers and sisters. Asante Sana, which means thank you in the African language. Thank you for being with us all day today. And I'm not going to repeat everything that Sister Joy said, but I will give a shout out to all those people who were not in Cincinnati, Ohio, from other parts of the United States and other parts of the world. We thank you very much for staying tuned to us, and we know you were listening to us because we got your typed messages back, and so we appreciate that very, very much. On behalf of the CPAC organization, our final item coming up will be our closing rituals brought to us by our brother Baba Atiba Parham. Until next time. Until next time. Hotep.
Greetings, my African brothers and sisters throughout the world. Abaragani, Hotep. My name is Atiba Parham. I'm here to lead us in Harambe. Harambe is a Kiswahili word that means pull together. It's a rallying cry that Jomo Kenyatta used to pull the people together, his people, in Kenya, to run the English out of the homeland. So that is the reason why we celebrate this day. As a people, we're moving forward, not only in Africa, but throughout the diaspora. And we're connected with each other. And this is a special time to do it, where we're worldwide. We want to pull together in a symbolic gesture, or pull it together. In the same words that Marcus Garvey said, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, that Africa, for the Africans at home and the Africans abroad. We will pull together and we will symbolize that we have done our libation for our people. We will also go on to say that the ancestors are with us today because they have ascended, and we are the ancestors. And we move forward, and we're showing the world that we have come together as a people. We'll do our Harambes together. And let me lead us in this Rambe. We symbolically pull together by raising our fists above our head. And we'll pull down, symbolizing and putting together. And we'll do 7 Harambes. And on the 7th Harambe, we'll hold it above our head, and we'll yell that Harambe for as long and as loud as we can, which will symbolize the end of our program. So I'm going to ask everyone in the presence of my voice to please stand up. Raise your fist above your head, and we'll pull together. 6 Harambes pulling down, and on the 7th, we'll hold it above our head as long as we can. Are we ready? Let's go. Harambe 1, Harambe 2, Harambe 3, Harambe 4, Harambe 5, Harambe 6, Harambe! Thank you. Asante sana.
Sunset lights up the sky, a magical moment of light passing by, romantic rhythms that beat through the night, Mother Nature's gift for you and I. Africa is my home. Don't you know that home is where my heart lies? Across the ocean into the African sky, through the hills and valleys, over the mountains. Africa is where my heart lies. A new day dawns upon our land, breathing light for the creation of man, holding treasures of beauty given for all, the African dream that touches the soul. A motherland now. Don't you know that home is where my heart lies? Across the ocean into the African sky, through the hills and valleys, over the mountains. Africa is where my heart lies. This is where I'll stay. The place of my heart. Don't you know that home is where my heart lies? to the African sky, through the hills and valleys, over the mountains. Africa is where